Love is Blind, the season 6, as just I just aired the part 1, and I say I thought I wasn't going to be able to watch the 6 episode at once, but I tell you, I didn't know how I sat down there and watched the whole 6 episode because it was given like the red. I was seeing a lot of red flags, a lot of funny moments, a lot of wow. And I was so shocked by some of the decisions some of those castmates were making because I was like, really? Are you blind? But at the end of the day, they made that decision. Welcome, guys, once again to my channel. If you're not subscribed, make sure you click on the subscribe button down below to like and comment on this video. Don't forget to click on the subscribe button, like I said earlier on. Don't forget to like. The more you like, the more YouTube recommends this video. And comment your thoughts and opinion about this video on the comment section. So let's dive into Love is Blind Season 6, the part 1. That's all episode 1 to 6. We got the introduction of the cast. Now we see the male in the male quarters and we see the females in the female quarters. And I say that these ladies were looking stunning. When I say they were looking stunning, I say they were looking, all the ladies were given. Every lady on the show was beautiful. And the guys, not so much as I would say they are all handsome, but at least, like, let's say 70% of them were giving what they were supposed to give. Now, episode 1 to episode 6, there were just some couples that stood out for me. I felt bad for those people that couldn't get a connection because there were so many people that I didn't get to see. Because I was surprised when I was watching the episode. I thought the only black girl, I'm not gonna lie, from the first episode, I thought the only black girl was AD, but I was surprised as we were going forward. I started seeing so many black girls. I feel like I started seeing Danielle, the other lady, as in a lot of black. I think there were like 4. I was like, where did they all go? They didn't get camera time. We didn't even know who they were trying to get connection with. But I know that as far as you don't get a very steady and stable connection with any guy, I feel the producers will feel like there's no need for me showing you. There are other people that have stable and steady connection, so let's show them. And now we're going to be talking about those steady and stable connection. The first one we're going to be talking about is, of course, my girl AD and Clay. Like, this couple, AD decided at the first episode she got connection with Matthew. Now let's talk about Matthew. I forgot. Matthew is one different person that I have seen on the show. Like, I feel like he's an introvert because the way he was acting, like when he brought out I have 15 questions, choose from 1 to 15, and I asked you the question. And when he asked and they threw back the question on him, was like, oh, I didn't expect it to be like that. I was like, so you can throw 15 questions at people, but you don't expect them to throw back the 15 question at you. That's so very surprising. But I was like, would this guy be able to get a connection? I was like, I didn't have hopes for Matthew. I never had hopes for Matthew. But when he talked to AD, I tell you, when he talked to AD, I was like, okay, maybe there is hope. And I think the only reason why he was able to get with AD was like AD was patient. AD didn't, jump the gun from the instant. Because really, if Matthew talks to you the first time, you would literally look like, you know what, end this. But AD gave him the chance to like land, and he saw that she was kind of, accepting, so he was able to open up a little bit and talk to her, and they had a good chat. And I was like, okay, this is going somewhere. I didn't know these producers were cooking and making us blindsided by everything. The producers did me bad. The producers made me think something else. I was all here thinking Matthew was all for AD because every time he came there, I was like, this guy knows the right thing to say. This guy, his words are like, whoo. I would literally be falling if I was speaking with Matthew because the words that come out from his mouth are like so poetic. I was like, wow. And it got AD. Like, AD was like head over moon. Like, AD, I think at that moment, Matthew was AD number 1 guy. Hands down. Matthew was AD's number 1 guy. And I, as a viewer, was wishing that AD was going to be our number 1 guy. I was wishing that AD was going to be our number 1 guy. But we got a surprise. But before we get to talk about the surprise, AD also had a connection with Clay. And I didn't really like put Clay very well. I thought that she was gonna pick Matthew on than Clay, because Clay was giving me a vibe of I'm not serious, playboy type, and but he was like forthcoming. I love a guy that is forthcoming, and I did love the fact that when he told her that, I also like the physical, because some people will not tell you that. Then when they see you and you're not their physical type, they start acting out. So I'm glad he did tell her that physical, your body type is one thing that he wants to be attracted to you physically before we talk about the other aspects. So I was glad he was open, although I know that sometimes, especially being the pod thing, you're not seeing each other and you just out there just throw it there that, oh, your looks and your body is one thing that I might be be serious about, like, and I want to know. And I was glad that he went back, realized his mistake, came back and did apologize and said, it's not like, yes, that is one thing that is important to me, but I feel like now is not something I should be talking about. Now is for us to see whether we do have this connection. So I was glad he retraced his step and like came out and changed, and it went all well. It was going well. It was going well for Eddie. I was saying, okay, Eddie was winning. She had Clay at her hand. She had Matthew at her hand. I was even saying, okay, this is going to be a hard choice for her to choose between Eddie and Matthew. But I will tell you guys, my money was on Matthew as at that moment. At the early episode, my money was on Matthew, that she was going to pick Matthew. Now she went back to the women's lounge and she was hearing gossips that Matthew was saying the same sweet, lovely words that he was saying to her, the same topics, the same thing, word for word. The things he was saying to her, to another of the ladies. And for me, when I heard that, I was like, hold up. That doesn't make sense. I don't like that. When you start saying the same word for word to me and the same word to word to somebody else, I just feel like it's rehearsed. It's not like authentic. It's not from a place of love. It's not even from a place of care and likeness. Because if you are repeating the same words, the same emotions to somebody else, you never liked me, you never loved me, there was nothing there. So she got kind of said, shaking, because then she was solid on Matthew. So she was head over heels for Matthew. But she started shaking when she heard that. And I understood that, because nobody would want to hear that. The same sweet words you're telling me, the same thing you're telling me about you, about how you want our life to be, you're telling another lady. Nobody wants to be in that situation. So she went and told Matthew in the pod, and Matthew was like, I was like, okay, this guy's not going to get away with this, he's over. But man, Matthew, I say when I say Matthew has sweet words, I said he has sweet words. The way he was able to turn the situation around and make her be like, okay, I will think about it, I still want to get to know you, and she was okay, fine, I'll kind of give you another chance. Then she went back to the women's lounge and she started telling the ladies what was happening between her and Matthew. And it had turned out that the same thing he was saying to her, he was saying to Arabella. I'm like, Matthew, please have a good game. Why would you? I know some of them there have connections with 2 or 3 people, but why would you be saying the same words, the same thing, sharing the same emotions with the same ladies? With the ladies that are in the same, are you thinking that they were not going to talk to themselves because you don't talk to other people? Just because you don't interact with other guys in the quarters does not mean the ladies will not interact with themselves. I don't think he understood that part, that they were going to interact with themselves and they were going to know. I think at that moment, that was when AD was like, you know what, I'm not doing it. Especially when Arabella was like, if this is what this guy is saying, and I think Arabella had put him as her number 1 choice. I think she had put all her eggs in the basket of Matthew, and that was what made her. She was like, you know what, if this is how it's gonna be, I think I'm gonna leave the show. Although for me, if you ask me, I didn't understand why she had to leave the show, because she still had other connections, and I feel like if the connection was that great, why did the producers not show us? I'm calling on the producers of Love is Blind. Why? Because every connections, even the ones that we were like, no, 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 they did show us. So why did they not show us Matthew's second connection? Why are we hearing it in the women's lounge? Why are we hearing it as a gossip? I wanted to see for myself how, because Matthew said the connections he had with her was not as strong as the connection he had with Eddie. So I wanted to see that connection to judge by myself as a viewer and say, okay, fine, truly this connection he has with her is not as strong as the connection he has with AD. But the producers didn't give us a chance. We never saw him interacted. I don't think he ever walked in the pod to talk to her. I don't think we ever saw that, because we saw other ladies where he was being his introverted self and he literally walked out of some conversation. He literally checked out of some conversation. We saw those parts. Why couldn't they show us if he had a connection with somebody else? I would have loved to see that. Seriously, I would have loved to see that. But anyways, now Arabella decided to remove herself from the show, and she was like, she's not cut out for this. I think she told Matthew, or Matthew heard about it. I don't know whether they had a meeting in the pod and she told Matthew. Then Matthew came up to meet AD and he was tearing up. I think he was trying to get a little bit of sympathy from AD. I'm not gonna lie, the way he was tearing up and talking to her, I think he was trying to still feel like, okay, fine. Even if Arabella left, I'm still going to be for you. But truthfully, what was he thinking? You told the two girls the same thing. How is she gonna say, okay, fine, I'm going to be for you? And I think Matthew is somebody that cares about his image and the way other people view him, because he kept on saying, oh, now I have broken somebody's heart on TV. Now people watching me have seen how I broke somebody's heart. And I'm like, people will break people's heart. This is Love is Blind. Some people might not work out. Some people might end up going home. It's an unforeseen circumstances. Like, we know that happens on Love is Blind. But for him to be caring so much about that, and I think for him to even voice it out to AD, saying that he doesn't like how we did Arabella, he cares about Arabella, it speaks AD more, because I felt like at that moment Arabella is gone, right? You're supposed to be suiting me to make me know that, okay, you, now that Arabella is gone, you are for me, right? That was what he was supposed to be doing, but he was doing a ball game at it. All he kept on doing was saying, oh my God, I've broken Arabella's heart. Now I'm broken your heart. I've broken your heart. At that moment, I knew Eddie was checked out. Like, you know what? Do whatever you want to do, because I can't listen to you feeling bad for Arabella and you tell me that you felt more for me. Why are you feeling bad for her if you say you felt more for me? Simple and short. It's a simple question. But at the end of the day, it ended up being that Matthew decided that, you know what, since AD was not giving him the way he wanted, AD was not giving him the assurance he needed, which I felt like didn't make sense. You needed assurance when you didn't give her that assurance. You didn't give her the reason to be assured in you, right? He decided that he too was not called out for this, and he was gonna leave the show. But I heard people, I don't know, I didn't hear it, but when I went on social media, a lot of people were saying that he was gonna go chase after Arabella. I didn't hear that part. For everybody, I didn't hear that. I just saw it on social media. I didn't hear that on the show. But we're gonna find out later on, of course. We always have a reunion, so we know what exactly happened with the cast members. But Matthew decided to leave the show. That, you know, at that moment, Clay was the most happiest person, because Clay didn't find it funny when AD told Clay that she had another connection with Matthew and it was very strong. My God, I felt like Clay was a red flag, because the way Clay was walking around, I'm not gonna lie, if that guy had something to break, he would have broken it, because he was so angered. Like, this is a show that you are going to have connection, of course, with 3 or 4 or 5 people. So why is it piece of, at least she's telling you. Some people will hide it. She's letting you know that, yes, I did have a solid connection with this guy. I see at that moment, I'm not gonna lie. If Matthew had not fucked up at that moment with the way Clay was reacting, the way Clay was acting, I would have chosen Matthew over Clay. But I just felt like Matthew's issue was just too much. And I just said, okay, fine. It's better she chose Clay. But I was happy that because Clay, when Clay heard from Matthew that he was no longer going to be on the show, I feel like Clay, before Matthew left, Clay was moody, sad, easing. He wasn't with himself. But immediately he heard that Clay was leaving, he felt like there was this, weight lifted over him. He was so happy. When I say so happy, he was so happy that now he knows that, okay, at least there's no competition again for me. It's just me and AD right now. So he won at the end of the day. So him and AD continuously got to know each other. They got past over it. He apologized. One thing I like about Clay is that when you tell him something that you did do wrong, he apologizes and make you feel like, I'm sorry that I did that. So he did apologize, and at the end of the day, he ended up proposing to AD, and they saw each other. And when I say the both of them, when I watched them, I say I like AD and Clay, and they suit each other. He was so happy when he saw AD because they're like, okay, I know I said I love the physical, but she's giving. AD's body is banging. AD's body is giving. Like, AD is the kind of body every woman would literally be like, this body is giving. So when he saw her, I think he could not get his eyes off her hips. Like, he kept on looking and be like, in his mind, he's like, thank you, Jesus. At least she's good in the eyes. Like, if there's one couple I know that physical attraction is not a problem, AD and Clay. Physical attraction is not the problem because it's there. Even her herself was like, oh wow, thank you, Jesus, he's handsome. I was like, so you two were also onto physical attraction and physical looks. But I was happy for the both of them because they did like themselves. They did like the physical attributes they saw with each other, so they could move forward with that. Now, another couple I would love to talk about is that I felt like gave me headache, or another triangle that gave me headache during the time they were talking in the pod. That would be Chelsea, Jimmy, and Jessica. Chelsea, Jimmy, and Jessica's triangle was another issue in the pod moment. And the only person I'm gonna blame in this triangle is Jay and Jimmy, because Jimmy was one person I felt like he was just taking time. He got to know Chelsea, he got to know Jimmy, Chelsea and Jessica, and he liked the both of them. He continued the chat with the both of them, and it was going well. I felt like he was more into Jessica at the second episode. I thought it was more into Jessica. Then Jessica decided to tell him about her truth, that she already has a child. I think he got bombarded the same day. Jessica told him that she had a 10-year-old child. The same day, Chelsea told him that she was once married. Now, where I have issues with Jimmy was that after Jessica told him that she had a 10-year-old child, he made it look as if that was not a deal breaker. She was happy that was not a deal breaker. He also went to Chelsea and told her that her being married before was not a deal breaker. So he pulled them along. He was dragging both of them along. He made Jessica fall so deep in love. Like, you know what? This guy said he doesn't care about me having a 10-year-old. And when he talked about, okay, I want to have my own children in the future, she said, I am open to having children with you. She never said her chapter is closed. She said, I am open to having children with you. Now, as a viewer watching, I noticed the disconnect. Immediately she said, I had a child. The next day, the convo was not flowing like he usually flowed in the episode 1 and episode 2, till when she told him she had a child. It did not flow like he used to do, and that was where I called Jimmy a big red flag. Because if at that moment your mind and your heart was trying to was shifting, you could have just told her then, I don't think I can go with this. Then she would have truthfully and honestly look for another guy or try to make connection with another guy. But no, you didn't do that. You stringed her along, you stringed Chelsea along, and you waited. That was where it pissed me off when it came to Jimmy. You waited until the last day. You still gave her even in the last day, you still gave her hope that okay, it's just that I can't tell you I love you now, but just give me time to go back and think. I want to be 100% sure about it. Then you went in the same minute, met Chelsea and told her you loved her. You still didn't tell Jessica. And the only reason why you told Chelsea you love her was because she told you that people tell her she looks like Megan Fox. You string Jessica along. I felt bad. He stringed Jessica along. Then he was still trying to play the victim. You were trying to play the victim. How? Make it make sense why you were trying to play the victim, because I didn't understand the victim thing you were trying to play there. You were never the victim. You tried to play Jessica for a fool, and I absolutely loved how Jessica called him out the last time she was on the episode. I was a round of applause for her. I was like, yes, that's my girl. That's my girl, because he needed to be called out. He was still trying to play the victim. He was still trying to play that I didn't know that was how I was gonna feel. Don't lie to me. The last time you guys met, you told her that you think about it, and the next minute you were telling somebody else that you loved her, and you're still telling me here that you didn't know that was the decision you were gonna make. No, before you left and came to the port that day, you knew that was the decision you were gonna make. So don't lie to me. And I love when she said, you don't know what you don't know what you're missing, and I promise you, when time you see me, you will realize what you were missing. I said yes, yes, that is it, because exactly I know that he is going to regret it, because I'm not trying to be anything. I'm not trying to be biased. I'm not trying to say anything. But let's be honest. If you look at Chelsea and look at Jessica, let's be truthful. Who would you pick? Because if I was a guy, I'll be picking Jessica. Jessica is pretty. Jessica is pretty. Jessica is pretty. Anyways, at the end of the day, I love how she told him off, and he ended up being with Chelsea. And I was like, okay, I'm waiting for this. Just for my guy to literally, when they opened the port, for him to see Chelsea. Oh my God. I was laughing. I was laughing from the moment they saw themselves, because this guy was not intrigued. He felt like he was catfished. He felt like he was going to be seeing another Megan Fox. He thought he was going to be seeing Megan Fox in the flesh and blood. No, but man, this guy was seriously catfish. But honestly, let's not lie. Let's not lie to ourselves. She does look like Megan Fox. When you look at her face, she has the same kind of features, and you can literally see a little bit of Megan Fox on her face, but not the body, right? The body is not a Megan Fox body, because we know Megan Fox. So he was like, I thought you said you look like Megan Fox. And I'm telling you, I felt like Chelsea made the wrong decision. Even the ladies were telling her that this guy never told you he loved you until this moment. You should think that is a red flag. And I felt bad for Trevor, because Trevor was one guy. I wish he had gone with Trevor, because Trevor liked her. Trevor was honest with her. Trevor didn't care about anything. He was there for her. And the fact that she gave him a bracelet and was like, if I beep you, know I'm close by, my heart for you. I was like, okay, she's going to go for Trevor. Then she had I love you from Jimmy, and she just rolled over. No, when Trevor cried, when she told him she was not going for him, I cried. because I felt like that was effed up by Chelsea. She fucking effed up by picking Jimmy over Trevor. I'm gonna say that so they go. Even before I knew what was happening, before we saw the future episode, I knew that Trevor was the right guy for her. At least he's gonna appreciate her. He was never into like the figure thing. But we know Jimmy was that. And I'm not gonna lie. When Jimmy met with Chelsea, with the things that was said, every other couple met up with themselves, and you could see the attraction. You could see that they love themselves. Like, not love, but I don't believe in love like that. But you could see that the likeness was there. Like, at least the physical attraction was there between them. You could see that. But with Chelsea and Jimmy, that wasn't the case. I was like, just kiss already, because what's going on here? He was like, I thought you said you look like Megan Fox. You know, it's not that I didn't choose you. He was like, at that moment, I'm not gonna lie, I felt secondhand embarrassment for Chelsea, because this was me that was Chelsea. I would have walked down. I would have thrown the ring at him. I would have been like, no, I'm not gonna be your fiance, because what the hell was that? He kept on making subtle complaints about the fact that he was not happy. You could notice in the way he said things, the way he hugged that, the way he rolled his eyes, that he was not happy and interested in that relationship. He was just settling, guys. Let's be honest with ourselves. Jimmy was settling. He was catfished. He thought he was seeing Megan Fox, but unfortunately, there was no Megan Fox in the picture. So he started acting out. Now we have other couples. I'm not going to talk about the other couples now, but we had in total we had 5 couples, and they all went to for their honeymoon phase after being fiancés. Man, and everybody was getting to know. It was still a lovey-dovey stage. Everybody was kissing and everything. But we got to Jimmy and Chelsea. Whenever they get to them, I'm always laughing, because every other person was doing something different. Everybody was being intimate. Everybody was, like, giving praises to their partner. I like you because of this. I love your this. I love your that. I love your that. One of them were busy telling themselves the reason why they don't really like themselves. I think that they always try, whenever they meet, they subtly throw shades on each other. Chelsea and Jimmy, they subtly throw shades on each other. And the fact that they still, and when they were in the honeymoon, they still talked about Jessica, and he told her that Jessica told, I feel like that was not the right thing for him to have said, that Jessica told him that if he sees how she is, he's gonna realize he missed out on something. No, that's like, oh, right. I know that Jessica body is banging, and I know that what she said is true, that if you see her and me, you will literally choose her over me. Why are you saying this to me? Why were you guys talking about Jessica when Jessica was no longer in the picture? And in chimed that I just want to be transparent. Every other couple was doing right except them. I didn't like Jimmy and Chelsea in their honeymoon phase. I didn't like them, and it showed more when the 5 couples met up at the beach to, like, have fun and party. It was evident. Immediately Jimmy saw AD. Oh my God, he fell in love with AD's body. Was like, the fact that Jimmy voiced it, that I was like, this guy has audacity. Like, how will you be in front of your fiance and be like, man, AD's body is banging? Way to make a girl feel insecure. Chelsea is insecure already, and you're making her feel more insecure. What is the meaning of her body is banging? Really? How is it banging? How? How? Man, that guy doesn't know. And the fact that Chelsea tried to make a joke out of it and made herself look more stupid by saying, "Oh, AD, where did you get all your body? My man said he likes your body." And Andy was not for it. It's like, baby, the dream. And she said, she made herself look like a fool. She made herself look stupid. Let's not lie. Why would my boyfriend or my fiance say, I love this girl's body, and I'm versing it out to the lady? On what grounds? On what grounds? I didn't understand that part from her. I was like, babes, you're making a mistake. You made a mistake. Move on. Man. And that whole night, he left her after having that conversation with her. Immediately he went to AD and they were chatting up. If there was smoke, if we could see the smoke, we could see the smoke in Chelsea's head. Like she was fuming. She was fuming because in her mind, this guy just complimented this girl that her body is banging. Now he has left me and gone to the banging body. Why? And the way I will say it again, Chelsea is very insecure of herself and her body. I don't know who traumatized her. I don't know who said something to her that made her feel like if a guy doesn't cling towards me, that means he doesn't love my body. And Jimmy was just talking. And the fact is that Jimmy was never saying anything bad with AD. They were just talking about it with stuff. And apparently maybe him and Clay were close from the men's quarters. So he was just like, how are you enjoying my friend? They were just talking simple chat. My babe there, Chelsea's head was flat, swelling up, getting pissed off. If you felt like, if I was the one and I felt like I didn't like my guy having a conversation with this babe, I would go in between the both of you. I would put myself in the conversation. You would understand. Just like what AD did after she had not chatted with Clay for a long time during the evening party. She literally, Clay was with Jeremy and Jimmy. She went there and was like, oh, I miss you. I've not had a conversation with you for a while. And she said that on his lap. That's how you do it. If you feel your man is not giving you enough attention, go ahead and get it. Then make him understand that, man, you're not giving me attention. Don't sit down there complaining and thinking that the voodoo or spiritual power is going to minister to him to understand that I want you close to me. You're not letting him know that you want him. How is he going to know that? It was so funny. But the fact that Jimmy himself did not even have a conversation with her all through the night. I think he had one time after Jeremy, Jimmy, and Clay had this conversation with AD and Jeremy's fiance, where they said something about Jeremy just voiced that his fiance told him to hit AD's breast, and I feel like that was wrong. But I feel like it was joke. They all laughed over it there. But his fiance started taking it personal and went over with AD and started talking to him. I feel like his fiance is stuck up. I'm gonna say that. Jimmy, do better with Chelsea, but I don't think Jimmy and Chelsea might actually work out because we see that they bring the people that they have dated also on the pod, and Jessica is one of them. And you imagine it seeing Jessica, the Megan Fox you actually wanted, in another girl's body, and somebody rejected. I want to see. I can't wait for February 23rd to see how that will go, and we could see that all the couples are crumbling. Clay and AD crumbling. We see Trevor back, but man, Trevor be looking more handsome than he was in the first 6 episodes. Man, he was fine. Like, I didn't like the mullets on him on the first 6 episodes, but man, the way he came fresh cut, looking handsome in this remaining 6 episodes, I would shoot for him too. I would be for him. But there are a lot of things that would have happened in the next 6 episodes, and I'm here for it. But before we go, guys, don't forget to like on this video for YouTube to recommend to other people, and don't forget to comment your thought and opinion about the first 6 episodes of Love is Blind, and also don't forget to click on the subscription button to subscribe. See you guys I think on the 23rd. Yes, 23rd is when the next episode will come out. We're gonna be talking about it probably if I don't have time, like on the 23rd, we're gonna talk about it. I'm gonna do a video on it on the 24th. See you guys then. Have a nice day.